Hello, I'm Gail Woodard from the Memoir Studio at Dudley Court Press. I'm delighted that you're interested in writing your memoirs. For years, I've been encouraging people to write and preserve the stories of their lives because I think it's really important to share them across generations. And if you don't write the story of your life, who will? In this 10-minute video, I'll share some of my favorite tips to make your memoir writing easy and satisfying. If you find these suggestions helpful, stick around till the end of the video. I'll tell you about a special deal on our exclusive memoir writing course. Right now, let's turn to my top 10 tips for memoir writing. My first tip has to do with your why. People write memoirs for many reasons. And when I work with people on their memoirs, the first thing I want them to be clear about is why they're writing their stories. And why is the why so important? Well, first of all, because writing is hard. When your why keeps you going, when it might seem easier to turn on the TV. Also, your why affects the kind of writing you'll do. For example, if you're writing to better understand the patterns and experiences of your own life, your writing might begin with a lot of journaling or free-flowing writing. If you have overcome some obstacle and want to offer guidance or hope to others who are facing similar challenges, your memoir might be more like one long story or like a novel with fiction techniques involved. Or, like many people, you might be like one of my clients who said, I just want my children and grandchildren to know I've had a good life. Well, then a collection of anecdotes, memories, and reflections will do very nicely. Tip number 2 concerns a very common obstacle for people, fear. People tell me that they're afraid of making someone angry or hurting someone's feelings. I say, don't hold back out of fear. Write if you want to write. Write everything and then edit judiciously. This is your memoir, and you're entitled to your views and your memories. You can always use the phrases, this is how I remember things, or this is how it happened for me, or this is what I recall. This is important. Please don't hang out dirty laundry out of spite. Those vengeful, angry, I'll show them sorts of memoirs are just not worthy of you. They serve no good purpose, they uplift no one, and they may land you in a court of law. So don't go there. Moving on to tip number 3, what I want to tell you is write. Even if you think no one will be interested, you might be surprised. I know one lady who dismissed herself as not having anything interesting to say, but with a little prodding, she admitted that her grandchildren, in fact, were always begging for her to tell them stories about her childhood and their mother's childhood. Suddenly she realized she actually had an audience who would cherish those stories if she preserved them. Tip number 4, develop a writing habit. It's really important to find the time and place, to claim the time and place for your writing, and to schedule it just as you do your weekly bridge game or choir practice. Commit to it. The daily writing sessions, if you can write daily, that's best, but several times a week is really good. Just schedule them, find your time and place, and make sure you keep it, you develop that habit. Tip number 5 is something we call an idea bank. It's great to create an idea bank because with this you'll never run out of material. Excuse me. In the course that I'll tell you about at the end of this video, I teach a great writer's technique which is called idea brainstorming. This tool gets your writing juices flowing and creates a long list of possible story topics. You may never get around to writing all the stories, but just having the list is fun. I have a list of story ideas from my 3 weeks as a Red Cross volunteer in Gulfport, Mississippi after Hurricane Katrina. I haven't written any of the stories yet, but I'm grateful that the list of memories is handy because when I review it, each line triggers an avalanche of pictures in my mind about those intense days. And at some point, I will write those stories. Tip number 6, don't write everything. Lots of beginning writers make the mistake of thinking that they have to tell every detail about everything. And then one of two things happen. they get overwhelmed and stop writing, or they write terribly boring pieces. So this is one tip that will make you a better writer no matter what your talent or experience. Focus on specifics. Pick one event or one revelation or one experience and provide the kinds of details that will make your reader feel like they were there with you for that one school dance, that one meal in Florence, Italy, or that one unbelievable touchdown. Tip number 7, if you think you're not a writer, try writing letters. They're less intimidating than trying to officially write something. One person I know started writing her memoirs as a Christmas letter to her first grandson. Rather than buying him a bunch of stuff, she wrote a long letter with tales of her life as well as of his mother's childhood. And it turned out the writer's own siblings wanted copies of the stories too. They loved reading about their shared childhood. Again, if you don't feel like you can write but you can talk, well, my next tip has to do with today's technology, which makes it really, really easy. Just record and transcribe. If you have a smartphone or an iPad, you can use an app to record your stories. You might ask your grandkids to turn on the recording app when you sit down to tell them stories. Then you send the digital file off to a transcription service. Speechpad.com is fast and inexpensive. And within days, you'll receive a Word document back from them, and there you have your first draft, ready for editing. And let's talk about editing. Tip number 9, please, please, please edit your work. It's just not polite or fair to ask readers to read your first draft. Clean it up. Spend the time and energy to make it more entertaining or clearer. Do your best to get your facts correct. Remember, your memoirs will become part of the historical record of your family. And proof your final work to be sure your work is free of grammatical and spelling mistakes. And finally, tip number 10, if you're not sure what to do with it when you're done writing, here's some ideas. You can make copies for everyone and give them as gifts, binding them however you wish. Or you could self-publish through CreateSpace or Lulu.com, or work with a publishing services company like Dudley Court Press. Both of those options give you a paperback book or hardcover book options. And there are many other ways to publish your book. So when you're ready, the time is right, there's plenty to look at. So there you have my top 10 tips for writing your memoirs easily and confidently. I hope you find them helpful. If you'd like even more guidance, take advantage of my specially designed course, Memoir Writing Made Easy. It's a 10-week course that includes access to Q&A calls, weekly lessons, and a variety of templates and other resources. Just click the button below or go to our website, www.dudleycourtpress.com/memoir course. You know, your memoir, your life story, is a gift that only you can give. I encourage you to follow through with your goal, and I wish you all the best in your endeavor. If you'd like more help with your memoirs, click that link below or visit dudleycourtpress.com/memoir course. Thanks for listening. Happy writing.